Hi Karen, hi Sun and Moon Family United. I thought I'd share with you a few things which have been quite revealing. In these first 9 days of September, we'll start with the thing that really made me laugh this morning. That is this little leaflet that's appeared in my room, and it's entitled Enjoy Life Forever, Introductory Bible Lessons. It's from the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a shame I didn't get to talk to them, because whereas most people will run away from them or shut the door in the face, what generally happens is they run away. I'm possessed or whatever. It's hilarious. Now, there's probably a lot of you that may listen to this that would class yourself as Christians, and the thing to keep in mind with this is it's how you read the Bible. I mean, it doesn't matter what you believe in. You can believe Jesus Christ is your Saviour, but it's understanding what it's really about, because this Jesus character is just a conflation of different characters. But these characters, all these names that are in the Bible, are just purely representations of states of mind. Now, some of you may find this so bizarre, possibly even upsetting, in total conflict with your belief system. And this is something that is very valuable in a wider context here. I'll come on to that in a little while. So, if from what I've said already that you're feeling triggered, rather than go on the defensive of what you believe to be true, or to go on the attack, feeling you've got to defend that belief, that is the perfect time, when you feel triggered, to have introspection and ask yourself, why am I triggered by saying? Why am I feeling this particular emotion? It's not about suppressing the emotion, it's acknowledging the emotion, and then asking yourself a series of questions of, do I know what I believe in to be 100% true? Is it something I've heard from somebody else, or do I know it to be true? Because if it's true, it can be seen from multiple vantage points. It can also stand any question, because the truth is the truth at the end of the day, and it will prove itself in being tested. So the last few days have been absolutely fantastic, because Archaics Channel Jason Bashirs has put together Chronicon, which gives you the entire history in the chronological order, and it shows that there are repeat patterns of similar events that keep playing out over and over again. The fine nature construct of this reality is based on the number 138, but what you also have in this reality is different numeric patterns, like number 7 days of the week. You've got the number 12, as in with the clock, as with the imperial measurement, the inch to the foot, 12 inches makes a foot, and so on, 12 calendar months. Now, I'd recommend that you listen to a very recent live stream, and it was a conversation between Jason of Archaics and the guest, Dr. Danny. So that will give you a beautiful overview of why there is talk of a 13-month or 13 zodiac signs as opposed to 12, and why this has happened. So playing cards, for example, have 13 cards in a suit. They go back a long, long way. Tarot cards are far more recent. You've also got other patterns going on revolving around the number 9, the number 11, as well as 12 and 13, and of course 10. If you take, it's a program I call S10, say 10, or Spirit 10, 1, 0, the opposite of 0, 1, because this reality is all reflection, it's all contrast. So on a broader context, if you come across a video or something and you feel triggered by what that video is presenting, that's the time for introspection rather than attack. See, everything is reflected in this world. I'm sure that you'll agree, and it's often expressed and used about the system, governments and so on, that it's corrupt, and the expression is an inside job. So the introspection is the real inside job that we need to do. Got it in my throat there, sorry about that. That is the most important thing. Now, if you don't like the sound of Jason's voice, well, you can mute the volume and you can put closed captions and you can read it, or you can follow the text under the video. If you go into the description box, I think it is, and you can find how to access that, so you can read it. You don't actually have to hear his voice if that's something that you don't find palatable. It's all subjective, all that aspect of things, but move past the personalities, move past preconceived ideas, and just look at the information that is being presented. Because you'll be doing yourself a huge disservice if you don't. So it's been a wonderful week. So there's been 2 attacks against the channel, which aren't taking up the challenge to try and disprove the information. But there's gone on the personal attack against Jason, and well, that's totally irrelevant to what's happening now. We're in the present. None of us were there to know the truth of it. And beyond that, to be able to put the entire history together in chronological order required Jason to read rather a lot of books. Who else would have a life that would afford you sufficient time to be able to do that? You need something like 20 years. And of course, archaics will always give you the sources of that information, so you can check this stuff for yourself. You don't have to just take his word for it. But if you look at the theme that has been running, 2020 we could say, it's an expression in opticians about having clear vision, having clarity of vision. What also ran with that in 2020 was, but basically it was a message of, if you do not take responsibility for yourself, if you do not recognize yourself, your true self inside, which is quoted in Paul's letters to Corinthians, I think it's 2 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 5, do you realize that Christ is within you? I can straight away back that up if you listen to the audio book that is available on YouTube called Irish Wisdom in the Bible and Pyramids by Conor McDarry, published in 1923. He shows that what the Vatican has done has basically mirrored and copied what was the Church of Ireland. Now, the core sort of belief of that, or the way things were explained when they talk about the sun, which in this Christian interpretation is an SON, a living being that walked on the earth. But what it actually is, it's a personification, as a way of explaining, of the power behind the sun. So now if we internalize this, you have mind, body and soul, and you also have spirit. It's the power behind the spirit which is inside you. It rises up internally inside you. It's called Kundalini rising or Christ consciousness. It is all an inside job. It's about becoming heart-centered. So you are having an ascension, if you think of it in terms of the chakra system. The solar plexus, which is Greek basically meaning the place of the sun, which is also expressed as the gut feeling. That's your internal guiding voice that is trying to help you. It's very much with this inside job about learning the language that is going on inside yourself. So when you get triggered, that's like a fire alarm going off. Because you've, from your thoughts, from your conscious mind, maybe you have a strong belief in something. That is relayed across to your subconscious, and then it goes through your entire body and will affect your body. So it's like all of a sudden all your cells in your body are feeling this sensation, sort of warning, conflicting information. But it's internalizing it and seeing what comes out of it. You see, the world is a reflection, and the theme has always been about vision. So if we look at the schematic of the optic nerve, it's basically I, X, I. Well, Roman numerals for 9 is IX, and 11 is XI. Again, it comes back to a biblical quote, "Let thine eye be singular and filled with light." It's nothing to do with the physical eyes, it's talking about the mind's eye. So you create the IXI. You can see this in cartoons when something like Bugs Bunny or whatever, Looney Tunes brand, that type of thing. When a villain or in a cartoon has black eyes, they're normally shown as X's over the eyes. The eye is basically your two temples. You sit between those two pillars. See, this is also reference things. The checkerboard floor, effectively, you could say, is your body, because we live in a world of contrast and duality. But that's not a negative thing. That is a way of finding the middle path between the two. Being able to navigate through that very grey area between the black and the white, but it's a very thin path. It's like the yin and yang symbol. It's that very fine line that separates the black from the white, but can't be seen because it is either drawn in white or drawn in black, but it's there. And you can see it when you see the contrast between the white and the black. There's an obvious visual representation of that. So anyway, so there was these two attacks from two different channels. I'm not going to give them credit by mentioning their names, but they just gave me all I needed. I reflected back their own words. I showed the hypocrisy of what they were saying and how they had such a weak argument. And I would say from subsequent posts and things on one channel, it is just purely comes down to jealousy over subscriber numbers. But that's like self-defeating, because instead of going on attack, if they'd have engaged in the right way and been a guest on the Archaics channel or invited Jason onto their channel, they would have got the very thing they wished for, which was an increase in subscriber numbers. So that has been absolutely beautiful. It's reflection. It's the same as the sky. It does exactly the same as the eye. There are blueprints and patterns. Again, we can go back to what it says in Genesis in the Bible. Man was formed from the dust or the clay of earth. That's talking about the physical body. And you also have to consider, what do you class as earth? Are you only seeing it as being the physical aspect of it? Because what about the air that you breathe? Is that not? So if we look at the optic nerve, what actually happens is the light goes through the pupil, it hits the back wall of the eye, it is bounced back within the optic nerve, and then there's a recording, a picture is taken in your mind, which you can then recall as a memory. So what you've actually got is a reflection, it's a bounce back. Now when you look up at the sky, that is conforming to exactly the same blueprint. What you are seeing is not stars, not planets. What you're actually seeing is the interaction of an energy upon the firmament, which is basically like the inside of the lens of the eye from our perspective, and it's a bounce back. It's the same with a young child when you put a mobile in the room, and then you've got like a cartoon sun and moon and various other depictions all going round across the ceiling. That's exactly what you've got in the sky, and it works in exactly the same way. It's the bounce back, it's on the rebound. And it's like saying, can you see electricity? If you would imagine a telegraph wire or an electric cable, the electric grid system, if one of those snapped and it came into contact with the ground, you would see a spark. That is what you're actually seeing when you think you're seeing stars, the sky, in the night sky. You're seeing an interaction of energy, and some of these stars will pulse. They're impulses that are coming in. This is why you have astrology, which is the study of the stars and then relaying into words what these impulses are doing and what effects they are having upon our physical beings. It's not so much about using astrology or tarot as ways of fortune telling and, oh, I'm going to get rich if I listen to this. It's more a holding counsel of telling you where you're at this precise moment. You're holding counsel. So you're acting like a king. You're asking as king. The quest eye is on. You're asking questions. These will come to you in the mind's eye. If you can get yourself into a meditative state, for example, it will come through far easier. That's where you'll get the true picture, the true sight, the clarity, because it will be backed up. The true sight is actually feeling, but it will express itself as mind pictures as well. So hopefully that has given you a new, this is almost like a pun, an insight, because it's about know thyself, understanding ourselves, understanding the language that the body is communicating, because the body will always tell on the mind. The heart knows. The heart is obviously connected to the body, so the signal is being sent back to the conscious mind. It's whether we can interpret that language that is being communicated. But to unlock that will unlock so much more. You will go a very long way on your path of self-empowerment and finding out who you truly are. Right, this is now nearly 20 minutes, so that's, I feel, is a good place to stop. I hope that has helped bring clarity to many things for you. As I say on my own channel, unconditional love to you all.